Hi guys. So you might remember my previous video um, on Argentina and the dream of a young boy who wanted to support Albi Celeste, see them win a major trophy. But it never happened. I talked about my journey, but how I started watching football and how the dream started by looking at one magazine. It was a pretty long video, but a lot of people who observed a lot of good things in the video said that they could relate to it. A lot of football fans, many of my friends and family could relate to it because they could feel what I was able to express, what I was trying to express as a football fan. Um, the crux of that video was that it started off with a big disappointment at the very beginning and it continued for many years. So I started in the year 1990 and I took us through a journey till 2006, um, where Argentina kept losing a couple of times to West Germany and Germany. I think I said West Germany in 2006, though by that time they were Germany, not West Germany. Pardon me for that. But it was the same team. It was the same disappointment, no matter what happened, east or west. I think the disappointment was there, and our loss always happened at the hands of Germany. So, and it was also about how there were continuously strong players who I considered to be heroes, who I thought would lift the cup, but they kept disappointing me either through their underperformance, through the team's underperformance, or uh, some stupidity of their own. So that was what the video was about. And it was what, 16 years of football, right from being a 10-year-old, and I was 26, and I've never seen them win, right? So let us look at the journey beyond that. What happened? Because I ended the video saying that there is new hope now that Messi has come, a new young Messi of 19 years, and he started scoring pretty quick, right? So between 2006 and 2010, which was the next World Cup, was when I think I started enjoying football beyond World Cups, because it was only it was probably the inception of club football being telecast in India. I think back in 2002, 3, 4, ESPN, Star Sports probably started covering the English Premier League. Other leagues were not yet shown that extent. Definitely not the Spanish league or the German league, but English Premier League definitely started being telecast in India. So people started watching, Arsenal, Manchester United, and all these clubs, and they started forming, their loyalties back then. After 2006, I knew that there was somebody called Messi, but I had not yet seen any of his games. And the moment the World Cup got over, I started becoming interested, and they started showing La Liga, and Messi was playing for Barcelona. He was still young, and he was still under the tutelage and guidance of players like Deco and Ronaldinho, right? So 2007, 8, and 9 were amazing years for anyone who started watching club football. If you started following Messi and Barcelona, it was fantastic because they gave the happiness that you needed for an entire week. One game in the weekend, and you could watch that game, and you will end up being immensely satisfied. Just the expectation of watching Messi play gave me so much of happiness. And no matter what happens, I would make sure I don't do anything else during that particular duration of 2 hours. I will make sure that I am in a place where there is a TV and a telecast and the channel is being shown. That was when I was most passionate as a football fan, because I was never missing games. I used to tell people that if he's played 1,000 games, I think I would have watched at least 700 games. That's a lot. And that's why I feel I know Messi, and that's why I've always been a loyalist, even when people have complained about his performance for Argentina. So, in these years, 2007, if you go back and search videos of Messi during 2007, that famous goal where he almost replicated Maradona's goal of the century against England, right? Taking the ball from the center of the field and going solo and scoring all the way. You can search for that goal that he scored against Getafe, Getafe. It was I think a Copa del Rey game, and it is just too weird. It's too freaky to imagine that Messi would score a similar goal from a similar position, starting from a similar position, beating almost the similar number of players, no passes involved, going solo, and beating them, like they were dead and they didn't exist, and scoring. I mean, like that was just too weird a coincidence, for it to have no meaning. So that goal I saw, and you could sense that this guy has got something special, and it is the consistency, right? I mean, like you could see one goal like this coming up from somebody once in a season. This guy would create magic, not once a game, four, five, or six times in a game. And by magic, I mean beating not one player, beating three, four players, beating three, four defenders, and not just if they came alone, if they came in a group, he would beat four, five players, and you will just get up and go, whoa, you will shout. It was not a goal. You don't need a goal to shout when Messi is playing. You don't even need a pass to shout. You just need to watch him play. And the moment he beats three, four players, you're like, whoa, what am I just watching? And imagine if you're a football fan, this happens four, five times in a game by this young guy. You don't need to watch football for anything else. It's the beauty. If That's why they call it the beautiful game. But there are only few players who make it look beautiful. Against all the comparisons with Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, like a goal scoring machine who would score goals that you can think of, like headers, right leg, left leg, from unimaginable long distances, consistency wise, his physical abilities. But the beauty, not from goals, not even from goals, but just beating players. And you will know that he's got the hand of God on his head, touched. That can only come from some kind of huge divine intervention, that this kid is blessed with some amazing talent. And imagine the enjoyment I would get thinking that, oh, okay, wow, it's a Saturday, it's a Sunday, I have a game of Barcelona to watch, right? 2009 was the Champions League final between Manchester United and Barcelona, and Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi were, against each other in a big game for the first time. And Ronaldo was missing, and Messi uh, scored a goal, a header, against Van der Sar, who was one of the best keepers in the world at that time. And Barcelona won 2-0. And that was the first time he lifted the Champions League. I was elated. I was like, top of the world. I mean, like, why am I talking about all this if the videos about Argentina is I was somewhere feeling immensely happy that wow, there is one more guy and he's an Argentine. I've not seen Maradona play before 1990, but I'm able to see somebody play this good, and this guy is Argentine. So just my passion for Argentina just grew multifold when I was watching him, and I was thanking him. You know, uh, I mean, there used to be a saying. We know that the current Pope, is Argentine, right? So there is a saying, I think, not just in Argentina, across the globe, that not only is the Pope Argentine, even God is Argentine. So referring to Messi, of course. So 2010 comes about, and they've just won the Champions League. Back in 2007, 5, 7, I graduated from my MBA college, and we were talking, and I was watching the 2006 World Cup when I was in my MBA, and we used to go out for drinks and stuff. So I used to tell a few friends that, you know what, I'm going to watch the next World Cup no matter where it happens. And I knew it's happening in South Africa. And we made plans to book tickets and go and watch. But I didn't want to go back on that. I wanted to make sure I go and watch a football game. And I watched twice. I've been to South Africa in 2010, and I've been to Russia in 2018. But guys, it's a great experience. I mean, I don't think any other global event has such well organized ticket buying, and it's just made so easy. And I booked, and I had so many obstacles. Like, I only in that year my passport was getting expired. I had to get it done somehow. I was delayed for the visa, but thankfully all the process happened so fast the moment you get a ticket. And I was offered a ticket. I just chose an Argentina versus South Korea game. I didn't care. I wanted to watch. I didn't want to book a ticket of a quarterfinal, semi-final, not knowing who would play. I wanted to watch these guys. And imagine 2010 was the year when Argentina was coached by Diego Maradona. So I actually watched a game where Maradona and Messi were on the pitch. It's like I watched not one but two gods. So it was magical. It was in Johannesburg, and the only purpose was to go in, land in South Africa in Johannesburg, watch the match, stay for a day to rest and come back. I didn't even, can you believe that somebody goes into a new country, new continent, stays for 2 nights and comes back? Because that's all I wanted. I didn't want, at that particular time, I was not keen on watching wildlife, watching a giraffe or a lion in the wild when I could watch God's greatest creation, Lionel Messi. Why will I watch anything else, right? I did go watch that match. It was a fantastic experience. 90,000 people inside the stadium and close to 80,000 were Argentines. I had fun. They won 4-0, and I started believing that, yay, yeah, they are going to win. I remember a newspaper article saying after the match against South Korea, I think they won 4-1. Are we looking at the champions? So I did feel so as well because they were ably supported. The coach was Maradona, and there was a couple of young guys who were helping him score, and they were scoring as well. In the 4-1 game, imagine Messi didn't even score once. He had a couple of shots, I think, which hit the bar and the upright, but it was Gonzalo Higuain who scored a hat trick. I will never forget Gonzalo Higuain. He is the reason that Messi hadn't won a World Cup till 2022. So I'm going to blame Gonzalo Higuain. Any football watcher, any Argentine fan will do that. So it was fantastic. It came back. But 2010, who did we lose to? Germany again. And it was a horrible 4-0 loss. And it was the end of that Messi Maradona dream. Coach Maradona being the one of the few people in that small group who had also won the World Cup as a player and a coach. All that didn't happen. 2011 to 14 were years when Messi grew stronger, and 11 was another fantastic year when he again won the Champions League with Barcelona. They defeated Manchester United again. This time there was no Cristiano Ronaldo, but because he had already moved to Real Madrid. And Barcelona was beating Real Madrid left, right, and center. I remember the very first game when Ronaldo played for Real Madrid, and there was El Clasico, and they were coached by Jose Mourinho, and they lost 5-0. Barcelona beat them 5-0. So these were great times. Um, every year there would be a new record. He would score 40, 45, 50, 50 goals. There were years when for Barcelona club and a Champions League and league put together, he scored 70 goals in a season. And today if you go check, there will be people who will be elated for 25 goals in a season. Okay, so he scored 70, and in one of these years he scored 94 goals, if I'm not wrong. 94, that's a world record for most goals in a calendar year. He beat the German uh, uh, for the record. And that was, I mean, like, these were things that were happening, but I will never forget the way he still made the game look more and more beautiful every time, playing, beating defenders, scoring, assisting, and his level of consistency. He would play 85 to 90% of the games. 90% of the games he would play. That shows his fitness, that shows his ambition. And I was just hoping that, okay, if not 2010, maybe 2014. In 2011, I also had this opportunity to go see him live in India. I took my dad, we went to Kolkata, and we watched him play at the Salt Lake City Stadium. It was a game against Venezuela, and he played well. He was doing his usual magic, and he didn't score, but they won 1-0. Remember, I've seen him twice now, and I've not yet seen him score, so that was still at the back of my head. And I was talking to a few people in the stadium, and they were saying that they have never seen a football match being watched in the Salt Lake Stadium with such quietness, because they were fans of Mohan Bagan, East Bengal, and they used to shout, right? Always shouting, cheering, making noise, but they were just in awe, and they were actually just watching the great man perform. So apparently, it has never been this silent, and I could sense it. And I remember me and my dad, we wanted to see the Kalighat temple as well. And we waited up for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and they said it'll take 3 hours. And we didn't have the patience. But I remember for the game, we were standing outside the stadium for close to a couple of hours. So, I mean, like, you pick your God, right? I mean, you pick your faith. You decide which God you want to see. And yeah, we were more than happy waiting a couple of hours outside the stadium to see Messi. That is an experience I'll never forget as well. Um, 2014, and this is another World Cup, and I wanted it to be his. So now what? What is he going to do? Is he going to be the champion? Is he going to take Argentina? Expectations are building. It's in Brazil, right? It's been long since a South American team won the World Cup. It's been long since he scored, because in 2006 he scored a goal. 2010 he didn't score a single goal. So it's been 8 years. So they played against Bosnia Herzegovina, and they were leading 1-0 and became 1-all. And finally, at the 70th minute or something like that, he gets a pass from Higuain. He goes solo, beats a couple of defenders, and he scores a goal. What a moment. Go watch that match. You listen to the commentary. It's like the world wanted that. And I knew that, thank God he got that. Finally, a goal from open play, and maybe this is his year. And then the next game comes about against Iran. Remember, I told about me and my mama watching a game between Brazil and Argentina, and how we both enjoyed and we celebrated and we shouted when they won 1-0. This was That was in 1990, and this is 2010 or 14, 24 years later. It was again my mama who had come to visit me, the same mama who had come to visit me in Bombay. And we were watching the game just alone. And it was 0-0, Argentina Iran 0. They should have won this match so easily. It was 0-0 for almost the 85th minute or even beyond that. And just when the game was about to end, Messi takes the ball from the right corner, uh, outside the rectangle, close to 25 yards away, and he's at a tough angle, and he beats a few defenders, comes in, closes in just the way he does, reduces the angle to a more doable uh, position, and he blasts one from with his strong left foot, and it curves. And I was praying, God, is it going in? I remember my parents telling, they were watching the game too. They watched all the games because of me. And my sister and my dad were sitting in one room watching this match, praying that they win. And exactly at this moment, my mom, who it just gets tense because she wants Argentina to win for me, and she thinks that if she watching always disturbs the match. She has these amazing, beliefs, but it has always worked. So, and so she enters the room, I think by mistake, and just when she opens the door, the ball goes and hits the net. It's almost like she came in and headed the ball. Like that was divine intervention. The ball was like a cross going by Messi, and she opens the door and puts her head in, and that probably pushed the ball. And that's how my dad told it felt like, my sister told it felt like, and I enjoyed it. And me and my mama, here again 24 years later, we were jumping and shouting. Like 24 years have moved, and I'm still the same kind of boy and celebrating with my mama. And I will never forget that. I mean, that showed that boyish innocence was there in me because of football, because of Messi. Few more games went by for other teams, and then this was Argentina against Nigeria, the third and final match. People were wondering whether he should be rested because they're already qualified for the knockout stage. But he played, he scored one goal, and then he scores a free kick. I mean, to me, he's the greatest free kick taker on earth, because I have seen him, and it's the confidence that you get, that when somebody is in a position to score, is getting ready to score a free kick from 30 yards out, my mind tells me that Messi is going to score. You don't get it with any other player in the world, and that is what tells you what kind of a player one person is. The consistency, the artistic beauty, and the confidence that a fan has in that player, and that is always given to me by Messi. And I think that goal was brilliant. And I said to myself immediately when I saw the goal, that this is Messi's World Cup. This is Messi's World Cup. He scored 4 goals already in the group stage. Why won't it be Messi's World Cup, right? And yeah, they went on. They played, I think, um, Switzerland, and it was a tough game, and they were 0-0 for a long time. And then again, but it was not like there was any magic missing. Messi was creating chances, Messi was beating defenders, and finally he goes past a couple and he almost comes to the perfect position, but it's still not in his best angle considering he's a left footer. But he makes this brilliant pass to Angel Di Maria, and Di Maria, just like I would hate Gonzalo Higuain for spoiling all of Messi's chances, I think the one person, Aguero aside, the one person who probably is instrumental in Messi winning the World Cup is Di Maria. That that beautiful dribbler, that amazing player with a great heart, and that ability to score in a big game. That is what I think was Messi's biggest support. Uh, and he scores, and Di Maria scores, and they win the second round in extra time without going to penalties, and they meet Belgium. Belgium is a strong team with fantastic players, some of the best players in the world across clubs. We're all from Belgium. If you put their names on paper, you'll be scared to play them. Uh, but they played, and it was Gonzalo Higuain who scored. And go check out, I think there was one pass by Messi, which I think some websites have done some analysis on the unbelievable angle and depth that the pass had. It was almost from the center, and it curved past a few players and almost reached a striker. Go read about it. Argentina versus Belgium in 2014. Messi's pass. I think there was a website called 538.com who do statistical analysis on football, on any games and politics and everything. I think they did an analysis too. So check it out if you can. I'll try and share that on the description if I can. So increasingly, my confidence was building up. Now they've gone past the quarterfinals. I was disappointed because Argentina could have won it by 2-0 or 3-0, and Messi had a beautiful chance to score in the knockout stage, which he hadn't yet because all the four goals came in the group stages. And he's just one on one with Courtois. And Courtois at that time was the best goalkeeper in the world, and he should have scored. He missed it. The keeper defended it, and the keeper goes like pumping his arms in the air because he knows that he's just stopped Messi. And I felt bad. Maybe he should have scored. But anyway, they move into the semifinals. Tough game. Arjen Robben, this Dutch guy who would have scored on a couple of instances, but thankfully, they don't. They go to the stage of uh, penalties, and Messi takes them through. They all score. I think the goalkeeper saves a couple by Netherlands. It's the final, one of the worst matches I've seen because I couldn't bear the loss. It was a tough game. I was so close to enjoying that moment. Gonzalo Higuain misses a sitter. Messi missed one too, but Gonzalo Higuain missed a sitter that should have gone in by a decent striker. That would have gone in. They don't. They miss out, and Mario Götze scores the goal. Apparently, the German coach tells Mario Götze, who comes in as a substitute, that go and prove to the world that you are better than Messi. He was a young kid. He was creating some waves in the German football league for Borussia Dortmund, but he comes and scores. I don't think he believed that he was better than Messi, and this is what happens, right? I mean, you're destined to do something, and you come and do it, and there is no talk, there is no mention of any great game or any great goal that Mario Götze scored after that. He played for Borussia. He went to Bayern Munich, and he came back to Borussia Dortmund, I think. He played for Germany for a couple of more World Cups, but nothing. It was just that one goal. He was nowhere near even being a good player. Forget about being better than Messi. But it just happened that way, and I was sad. And I even told a lot of people in office back then in 2014 that if Argentina won the World Cup, I would take everybody out for lunch. It didn't happen. There were a few people who said they'll come and watch. In fact, it was my super boss who said he'll come over to watch the match. I said, no, don't come. I'm superstitious that way. So, and then he had a laugh saying that, oh, maybe Argentina would have won if I had come home. So all these things happened. I was again sad. I spoke to my sister the next day, and I said, I feel like crying. She said, just go, shut yourself out in your room and cry. And I cried for half an hour, 40 minutes, just begging, asking God, why would you do this? Why can't he just win? It was not that I wanted Argentina to win. It was more like, why can't Messi, have it? Why don't you give Messi what he wants? Why don't you give Messi something that is, deserving? So I hated that, and I could feel his sadness. That's how close you are to your hero. You could feel their sadness. You can bask in their great moments, and when they cry, you feel heavy too. So that was what I was feeling, and it was the year when I was also thinking of getting married, and I didn't focus on any of this. I was focusing only on football, and yeah, all that happened, and. 2015, yeah, probably was one of the greatest years, if not probably the greatest year, the greatest day, anything you can say. I got married to my wife, and the reason for a complete transformation in my uh, outlook towards life, my positivity, my overall behavior, everything. I mean, I can only uh, you know not taking anything away from how I was raised as a boy. Yes, I was a very good kid thanks to my mother. I was a very loving brother thanks to my sister, and I've always been encouraged to do what I want, and felt very close to my dad because of how cool he was. All these things were right, but if there was one way I could develop myself even better, make myself a better human being in every aspect, it's only because of my wife. So I want to thank her for that, Ranjani, and the only probable small thorn I would have had while marrying her was that, okay, she's not a football fan. Forget that. She's not a sports fan. She doesn't watch sports. She doesn't watch football. So maybe I felt, oh no, won't I be able to watch matches with her? So I never really watched a match with her. I think the first match and probably the only match I watched for a long time was the final of the Champions League between Juventus and Barcelona in 2015. She watched it with me, a late night match, and Barcelona won. So that was the third Champions League that Messi got. So that was in 2015. And I remember I used to watch, even during our honeymoon, the late night matches. I used to go and watch it. She would be sleeping, I would watch it. And the very first time itself in our honeymoon, I think there was a match. There was an El Clasico between Barcelona and Real Madrid, and I wanted to watch it, but I think there was no access to TV. So I probably couldn't go and enjoy it, and I guess I stopped cribbing. It was only because of this, change in my outlook and change in my behavior that I probably could take it. I didn't complain about it. I didn't really feel saddened by that I missed the match. I just checked the score in the next morning's paper. So I think those were the things that developed in me. I was able to take loss pretty well. I was able to take disappointments pretty well. 2016, um, Champions League, right? Not Champions League. 2016 was a year of the centenary Copa America. 2015 was the year when once again he lost the Copa America. I forgot that. 2015 was when he lost the Copa America to Chile. But I think I could sense that he wasn't disappointed that much, because he thought, okay, 2014 I've lost the World Cup final. 2015 now I've lost the Copa America final. I felt it too, and the next year there was another Copa America because it was a centenary year. This time they were playing in the USA, and he was just going great guns as usual, scoring amazing number of goals. There was a game against USA where he almost looked like God playing on the field, and he scored a brilliant free kick. Go check out the free kick against USA in the Copa America of 2016. And you never know how God works or any of these works, right? And 2016, if you take the Euro, it was happening simultaneously. And I remember the group stages, and Portugal was struggling. Ronaldo, right? I always compare Ronaldo and Messi, the world does. They were struggling, they were almost out of it. Uh, they had one game in hand, they had to somehow draw or win it, and they, I think, struggled and somehow won it, or drew against Hungary. I'm not quite sure. They scraped through to the group stage, and here Messi and Argentina were into the group knockout stage comfortably. And I remember once, I think Ronaldo was walking after his workout during that tournament, and they have not yet qualified. And some reporter goes and asks him some question, and he gets irritated. He takes the mic and he throws it into the water or something. So, and here Messi was enjoying, and Ronaldo was pissed off. And I don't know how it happened. And again, Argentina comes to the final, and Messi misses a penalty, and they lose to Chile again. And here, Ronaldo and Portugal reach the final of the Euro. They play the toughest and strongest team, France, who are on a high. Ronaldo gets injured in the first 15 or 20 minutes, subbed out. He's not going to play the game. And Portugal manages to win Euro because of some guy who I don't remember, who none of you watching will remember who the guy was unless you Google him. He has not scored any great goal after that. Nothing has happened. It was like divine intervention for him. Like Portugal wins the Euro, and suddenly the world says, "Yeah, Ronaldo is the greatest in the world. He's the GOAT now. He's won some major tournament for, Portugal, while Messi loses again." And I can imagine Messi, and I see Messi crying next to Aguero after the loss. And I watched it here with my in-laws, and I was so damn frustrated that day. It's like my world shattered. And what's worse, he announces his retirement in 2016. That was one of the worst days in my life. Uh, so yeah, I mean, the disappointments continued even with that great hero in mind. And I kept enjoying all the great games and the great fun he was giving through his games for Barcelona. But this was still there at the back of the mind. I couldn't take it. But I was happy that he finally said, I can't do this anymore. I felt happy for him because at least the disappointments will stop, right? So that happened. But a few months later, he comes and he says that he's going to play for Argentina again. That, wow, that felt awesome. And he will play the 2018 World Cup. I have one more chance to probably see him because I was going to go and book for tickets in 2018. 2014, by the way, I tried, but I couldn't get tickets because Brazil is a crazy place. You don't get tickets that easily because of the huge fan base and locals who watch games there. So that happened in 2018. So in the next video, guys, I'm going to talk about 2018, my experiences when I went to the World Cup there, and what happened in the next 4 years. Until then, if you like it, press the like button, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.